Imperial impunity. We're seeing this in Donald Trump's imperial quid pro quo regime. Donald Trump said himself that he's not a king, but he employs every imperial tactic absolute monarchs historically have. Something we're seeing happen now with Donald Trump's regime more and more every day. Most recently with Pete Hegseth, Admiral Mitch Bradley, and the drug boat strikes. Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth are very tacitly trying to shift the blame onto Admiral Bradley, and I hope there better be investigations by Congress to see where that kill them all order came from, because the person who gave that order to kill them all is the person who is liable. And if that order originated in the Pentagon from Pete Hegseth, then he is liable. If that order came from Donald Trump, then there's the issue of immunity, you see, and there could be some problems, whether, but there would be a case, at least, to ponder over whether the president can commit war crimes in the name of military operations that have not been sanctioned by Congress. So we simplify it by calling it throwing somebody under the bus. But it is more than that. Donald Trump is pardoning the head of drug cartels, corrupt political leaders, corrupt billionaires, and oligarchs. He's granting leniency to the heads of organizations because he believes in imperial impunity and loves bribes. People at the very top never face accountability. They get clemency because they can afford it. You can call it honor among thieves, or you can call it corruption. It means the same thing. Sell the masses down the river while you maintain the status quo you impose on those who stay and are subjugated. Those in the middle ranks and lower ranks are the ones who will always bear the brunt of justice in this system. They can't afford imperial clemency, and nor do they have the position to ask the king for it. They are too far removed from positions of power, like Admiral Bradley. Like olden days of nepotistic kings, royals and nobles have to offer no explanations to be held accountable for unlawful acts. They just have to be rich, and they have to find a scapegoat, someone lower in the rung of power and position. And this is not justice. This is imperial rulership. And of course, the king's clemency comes at a price. Kings don't do things for free. This creates a fundamental unequal society where a class of human beings, based on the contents of their ill-gotten coffers, are put above the law that all others have to follow. And in this instance, in the American instance, we can thank the Supreme Court for beginning that legacy of imperial corruption in modern America with their gift of presidential immunity and the unlimited corporate money in politics by way of Citizens United. So we need in our society to be reminded that we are getting farther and farther away from the democratic society where everybody is held accountable under the rule of law, no matter how rich you are, no matter what your position is. And it's changing into an imperial system where if you pay the king like president, like Donald Trump, you can get your pardon, you can get your clemency, you can get your club-fed position. If you have information about Donald Trump, like Ghislaine Maxwell does. Everything revolves around the vulnerability of Donald Trump and the greed of Donald Trump and the corruption of Donald Trump to benefit personally from the highest office in our land and the most powerful office in the world. He wields the American sword and shield on his own behalf, not on behalf of the people who are to be governed, not the people who gave him this power, not the people of whom, by whom, and for whom our republic is created. That is what our government is for. It is for, by, and of the people, and not of a despot and a tyrant like Donald Trump. Keep reminding people this, and keep raising the red flag every time you see a drug cartel chief or a criminal leader of another nation who has been convicted of crimes getting pardoned by Donald Trump. Remember that we are sliding further and further away from the rule of law being king to Donald Trump becoming a quid pro quo despot. And we have to stop that from happening. That's what's at stake, is our democracy and the primacy of the rule of law. And when that goes, everything else goes. With that said, thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.